When everyone else was compromising, Phinehas stood up. When sin was spreading like wildfire, he refused to stay silent. When others tolerated what God hated, he rose with holy fire in his heart, and that fire saved a nation. In Numbers 25, Israel had fallen into sin. They joined themselves to Baal of Peor. God's anger burned against the people, and a plague broke out. Right in the middle of this chaos, one man, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, took a bold stand. The Bible says in Numbers 25, 7-8, "When Phinehas saw what was happening, he rose up from among the congregation, took a spear in his hand, and went after the man and the woman into the tent and thrust them through." And the next verse says, "So the plague was stopped." One man's faith stopped death in its tracks. One man's zeal for God turned away divine wrath. One man's courage became the difference between life and death for an entire nation. God looked at Phinehas and said in Numbers 25:11, "Phinehas has turned my wrath away, because he was zealous for my sake. Therefore I give to him my covenant of peace." What a statement. When everyone else was drifting, Phinehas burned with passion for God's holiness. When others were afraid to act, he was moved by faith. And that faith, expressed through action, stopped the plague. Faith is not just believing quietly. Faith is taking a stand when no one else will. Faith is defending purity when compromise is popular. Faith is saying, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord," even when the crowd mocks you. Today, the world needs the faith of Phinehas. Bold, pure, uncompromising, and full of fire. We live in a generation that's losing conviction. Sin is being rebranded as normal. Lukewarmness has become comfortable. But God is still looking for a man or woman like Phinehas, who will rise up in the middle of corruption and say, "Not in my house. Not in my generation." You see, Phinehas didn't act out of anger. He acted out of holy zeal. Zeal is not emotional rage. It's spiritual alignment with God's heart. It's saying, "Lord, what breaks your heart will break mine too." And God rewarded him with a covenant of peace, not just for himself, but for his descendants forever. That's what happens when faith turns into action. God establishes legacies. Maybe you're surrounded by compromise at work, in school, or even among friends. Maybe your heart aches for purity, for revival, for holiness. Don't let the fear of men silence your conviction. Let the faith of Phinehas ignite you again. God is calling you to stand in the gap, to intercede, to confront sin, not with pride, but with purity, to fight for righteousness, not with judgment, but with love that refuses to be silent. When Phinehas acted, the plague stopped. Could it be that the plague of spiritual decline around us will stop when believers rise with the same zeal? When you pray, when you preach, when you live holy, something shifts in the atmosphere. Heaven notices. Hell trembles. Faith without action is dead, but faith that burns changes history. Phinehas didn't wait for a crowd. He didn't need applause. He only needed God's approval. And he got it. Child of God, be that one who stands when others bow. Be that one who lives pure when others compromise. Be that one who says, "Lord, use me to bring holiness back to this generation." And when you do, heaven will mark you, like it marked Phinehas. A covenant of peace will rest upon you. The plague will stop where you stand. And the fire of revival will spread through your obedience. So rise up today with faith like Phinehas. Refuse to blend in with the world. Walk in purity, pray with passion, and live with holy boldness. Because the same God who honored Phinehas is still honoring those who burn for righteousness today. God is still looking for Phinehas in this generation. One act of faith can stop the plague around you. Holiness still matters, and heaven still rewards it. Faith that burns for God changes nations. Don't let culture define your convictions. Let Christ do it. The zeal of the Lord will empower you to stand strong. When faith takes a stand, sin loses its power. Be the one who turns God's wrath into God's peace. Your obedience can shift the destiny of your family, Faith isn't silent. It's bold, alive, and courageous. God still honors holy fire. You may be one voice, but you carry heaven's authority. Stand firm, even if you stand alone. The faith of Phinehas still speaks today. Purity is power. Never trade it for popularity. Heaven records the moments when faith takes action. The same God who gave Phinehas peace will give you strength. Let your life stop the spiritual plague around you. When faith moves, miracles manifest. Rise up. It's your turn to burn for God.